guys? Back here in the garage again today. It's been a few weeks unfortunately, but I'm going to continue on removing stuff from the car. I think today we're going to focus on the shifter linkage and possibly the brake booster and master cylinder and maybe some other things, but that's where we're going to start. So, alright, so we're going to start by removing, if I could speak correctly, this here shifter assembly. Or not. Alright, so everything so far in that secure it to the body has been 10 millimeters. I had to counter hold on one of those. It looked like somebody had added at some point. But now the pivot point for the shifter attaches to all the linkage. We've got access to that now, and we just have to break that loose, and that should come right out. Looks like it's a 13 and a 10, so gotta go grab a 13. Alright, so now that I have something that's gonna work, good idea is go ahead and put that bolt and nut back on there so you don't lose it. And that portion's complete. Alright, so next up, before we move to the underside of the car, I'm going to try and get this shifter box portion out of here. See if we can go ahead and do that now. Now, this boot on the end does attach to the shifter box over here. It was already torn, so kind of just finished the job. Alright, so now we're ready to get under the car. You look through where the shifter enters the underside of the car. You can see the shifter rod goes straight down there. You see some beat up heat shield, so let's go there now. Alright, so now we're on the bottom side. We got, as you can see, that shifter drops right out of there. And that's that for that portion, I guess. So here's our removed shifter linkage assembly. And here is the stock O2J 1.8T shifter box assembly, cables, and the cable guide that sits on top of the transmission. This is what's going to be going in since we're going to be using the O2J, so it would be a nice upgrade. Alright, so moving up front, I think we're going to go ahead and get this brake master cylinder and brake booster out of the engine bay. Make for a little bit easier access when we start cleaning this thing up and shaving the bay. And it's also getting replaced anyways because it's old and it doesn't look good, and many other reasons. So let's do that now. Alright, so starting off, we got two 13mm nuts securing the master cylinder to the booster. So there's the master cylinder unbolted from the booster. As you can see there, pulls right out after you get those two 13s off of there. And when you go back together, all you'll have to make sure of, and I'll go over this when I put it back together. But in there, if you can see, there's a small rod. You just got to make sure that lines up with the accepting position in the brake master. But like I said, we'll go over that when I go back together with it. Loose. So we have a couple options here as far as these brake lines go. Honestly, like I've said before, I'm replacing all this stuff anyways, even though it don't look too bad. Could be some rust inside. Brake fluid hadn't been changed in quite some time. But I could either cut those off in short, or I could go and loosen them up at the master cylinder. I feel like cutting them is probably going to be a little bit easier, so I'm just probably going to do that. Alright, so continuing on, if you look back here behind the booster where I got the light, you can just barely see it. This booster has four 13mm in there holding it to the bracket. So we're going to try and get those off now. I know I have what I need at work here. Possibly not so much though, but I'm going to give it a shot anyways. Worst case scenario, I just wait till tomorrow and I'll get something from work. Jeez, that's tight. Oh, there's one broke loose. Not so sure the rest are going to be that easy. Since my socket and ratchet wouldn't fit back there, I went and grabbed a 13. It's a little wrench, but see if I can break it loose with that. Not going to be much leverage on this, but let's see what we can do. Again, working with what we have, even though we have everything else at work. there it goes. Alright guys, so now that we got the 4 nuts off the brake booster to release that from the bracket, just got to go inside the car and release the rod from the brake pedal, and should come right on out. So go in there now. Under all that mess. Alright, so what we're looking at here is the inside of the car where the brake pedal assembly is. You can see it moving right now. This is the rod right here that runs through the firewall, connects to the brake pedal. All we're going to have to do is press this down and off that attachment point, pull this pin out, and now the booster's free from the pedal. Just go around to this other side and pull it right out of there. Oh shit. Breaking stuff. So now we just pull it right on out of there. And there's our brake booster and brake master cylinder and the rest of the pile. Here's the bracket that brake booster was attached to. Like I said, 413mm holding it on. The rubber boot actually still looks like it's in good condition, unless I rip it taking it out right now, which I didn't, so we'll definitely reuse that. Alright, so now I'm going to move on to this bracket, pull that off. That's going to be 3 13mm holding it to the firewall, and then there's another one on this little support bracket that comes off to the, I guess, frame rail. I'm going to pull that off now so I can take it with me to work and get that sandblasted and painted. Covered a little bit of rust there on the firewall. Get that fixed up when we do the bay. Alright guys, so that's going to wrap up what we're doing for today. Not a ton of stuff, nothing crazy, but needed to be done, so had a little bit of time. Get out here. Hopefully I can get out here a little bit more often. Just been pretty busy lately, but if you like what you see, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time.